Hi, everyone at Mission Roll Call. I'm Garrett Cathcart, the Executive Director of Mission Roll Call, and we're very lucky today. We have two extremely distinguished individuals with very long records of service to this country. Patrick, Danielle, would you love to introduce yourselves before we got started? Patrick, you first, maybe?
Sure. Hey, Garrett, it's great to be with you and Daryl and the whole team here. I'm Patrick Murphy. I taught Garrett at your alma mater, the United States Military Academy at West Point, the nation's premier leadership institution, and served on the board there. And I'm now the distinguished chair of innovation there. And it's great to be with you here today. As you know, I'm an Iraq War veteran, had an opportunity to serve in Congress, and there was a 32nd Undersecretary of the Army. And I get a great chance to work with Danielle because I chair the Cerner Federal Board, and we're in the middle of the largest transformation in IT in world history with the DoD, VA coming online. But I'll let Danielle introduce herself, and it's just great to be with you.
Guys, thanks for having us. I've been a fan of America's Warrior Partnership and Mission Roll Call for a while, so it's great to be invited. My name is Danielle Applegate. I'm a fourth generation enlisted veteran, so I did not go to a military academy. And I'm currently serving as the Director of Veteran and Military Family Engagement for Cerner, who, as Patrick mentioned, is completely transforming the way that we look at federal healthcare for DoD and VA by creating one seamless, interoperable, lifetime, longitudinal health record. That was a lot of big words that I'm happy to get into.
Well, we'd love to. And Patrick, you failed to mention you were the first Iraq War veteran elected to Congress, and I failed to mention I was at the academy myself. I was my major. Danielle, you just mentioned Cerner and the work you're doing. Can you describe together at Cerner and how it's affecting the military and veteran community?
Sure, it's groundbreaking change. For the first time in history, we actually have 3 government healthcare systems in the same record, right? So we currently have DoD, VA, and Coast Guard, which is technically part of DHS, all in the same Cerner Millennium product. For DoD, that's called the MHS Genesis, so Military Health System Genesis. And for VA, it's the Office of Electronic Health Record Modernization. I don't know how many details you want, but the DoD contract is about 2-3 more years to go before we fielded it to the entirety of DoD. And we're only about 1/5 of the way in with VA. We have about 8 more years. It's a little bit more of a complex and chronic population. So we have to do a little bit more work with them, but we're very excited about how smoothly it's going, particularly in light of a pandemic. We haven't really had to slow down at all. And thanks to leaders like Patrick kind of standing by and guiding us as we navigate these slightly tricky waters working in the federal space.
Well, thanks, Patrick. Sir, what does that do for the military and veteran community? All this IT update and technology for a guy like me, what does that mean?
Well, listen, as you know, our generation of Iraq, Afghanistan veterans, we've all served in combat. We are on these things all the time, and it's critically important to use technology for healthcare. And you know, I had it. You know, when I left the Army, I had great care. But when I left and went back home to Bucks County, Pennsylvania, you know, there wasn't a really smooth transition. And so when I did run for office and won and served in Congress, you know, I had the incredible opportunity to serve in the Armed Services Committee. And there, you know, they were talking about electronic health records and why, you know, we have Vista and Ulta and what we're going to do. And it was, you know, DoD had one, VA had another, and it wasn't a public-private sector partnership. And it was a mess. And I was one of those members of Congress just driving home, hey, we got to move the ball forward. We got to move the ball forward. And so we got the authorization part of it done. We then got the appropriation side of it done. And then the leadership in our country decided to go with Cerner. And Cerner is the largest healthcare IT company in the world. They're in the majority of hospitals and they do great work. And now they're going to be doing great work. And they have been doing great work for the Department of Defense and the VA. So for me, I'm passionate about making sure that we're taking care of our brothers and sisters, and we empower them to make the right decision, and making sure that they don't have to carry around binders and binders of their healthcare record, you know, that they could use it on their phone, that they can make it more accessible, and they can do what's necessary to get the best care that they have earned.
Wow. So if I'm understanding correctly, would it be fair to say in a future Army, my medical records are digital, and when I transition, those will go to the VA?
It's not a future state, Garrett. There are actually Marines right now in MCRD San Diego that are in basic training. We fielded the latest DoD wave about 10 days ago. So there are Marines right now that'll get this electronic health record and they will never not have it. It is a lifelong record. So by the time they come off of active duty, we'll have fielded it to VA. It's a pretty big thing to be able to say. This isn't pie in the sky. We're actually doing it.
Oh, that's incredible. I've got a dusty manila folder that I hope I don't lose someday. Wow, what a transition. So what are some of the biggest issues and challenges that veterans face when it comes to the VA process side of the house, do you think? Danielle, and maybe Sir Patrick Murphy?
Oh my gosh. So at the end of the day, the way that the systems are now, because they don't speak clearly, you really have to hit the right milestones at the right time. Some people start their medical claim before they leave active duty. Others wait until they leave and they go and they re-register and re-enroll in the VA, or they work with the VSO to begin that process. So there's a lot of different touch points. And like you mentioned, there are paper records, there are transitions from one base to the other. Sometimes there's medical boards involved and CMP exams, and all of that right now is kind of a mishmash of community providers, VA providers, DoD providers, and you really stuff can get lost in the transition. So when you add the disability claims adjudicators on top of all of these different systems,
yeah,
it's a timely, a time-consuming process. That'll go away. I mean, you'll have one record that will not require you to re-enroll in a new healthcare system. The disability claims adjudicators, and particularly, and Patrick kind of hit on this with our combat veterans and veterans that have toxic exposures.
sure.
It's so hard to prove. It's been historically very hard to prove that you were within range of a bomb going off or an exposure to a burn pit. That is no longer. Between the DoD's EILR system and the new EHRM, those records will be available electronically with a keystroke. I mean, that's kind of historic. I used to keep it next to my desk. I actually have a box of medical records about that thick, and that's what it took for me to get my disability claim process. So we're doing away with that. We're streamlining it. We're bringing government and federal healthcare, particularly DoD and VA healthcare, into the 21st century, and that has never been done before.
And Garrett, can I just mention, I just want to foot stomp on what Danielle just said. Listen, I'm a guy that, I was lucky to go teach at West Point, but I started at community college. And when the Army said, KISS, keep it simple, stupid, they were talking to me. And for me, it's critically important that when you have, Danielle, it's the lessons learned when we have technology in the past. So, when I co-authored with my roommate, Tim Walls, who was a command sergeant major, he's now the governor of Minnesota, when we served in Congress together, when we co-authored the post-advent GI Bill, and now you have 1.1 million college students using that GI Bill across America, yep. That was powerful. But at first, we were still doing paper records. Hey, I'm doing my class. And there was a delay. It took them sometimes 6-9 months for the college and university to get paid for these veterans who earned that, benefit to go to college. And so that was wrong. So then we made it electronic. It was quick. It was easy. And it was a positive thing. We learned from that. Now, when it comes to healthcare, to make sure we're empowering these brothers and sisters that we all know and love, to make sure that they could use their phones, that they could use technology to empower them to make the best medical decisions they can do and be able to communicate and have access to the medical records, which are so incredibly important. Now, listen, this incredible transformation for the DoD and the VA, it's the largest transformation because you're talking about 20 million American veterans. You're talking about 2.5 million, active troops and family members as well. So, when you combine that, that's why, when you have Danielle saying, hey, we just rolled it out in San Diego with the Marines and this and that, it is a step-by-step iterative process. So we're not trying to say you just flip a switch and everything's gonna be hunky-dory. Sure. We get it. We gotta we gotta roll this out. We gotta do it the right way. But we are doing it and we're doing it well. There's of course going to be probably some hiccups along the way, but we are getting better and better at this every day because we love and support our brothers and sisters. And when we have a global pandemic, when you talk about COVID, when you're talking about the epidemic of veteran and military suicides, so about 20 a day between the veterans community and active service, when you have homelessness, we have to live by that ethic, Garrett, as you know, that we leave no one behind. But we also have to be very positive. We have to be positive in that, hey, most of our brother and sister veterans are doing great. They are employed. They're actually more likely to be employed than civilians. They're more likely to start a small business and for that small business to be successful. They're more likely to run a Fortune 500 company. I mean, look at Johnson & Johnson, largest healthcare company in the world, started by a West Point graduate, Army Ranger named Alex Skorsky, happens to live in Bucks County, Pennsylvania. We're very proud
Awesome.
of
I knew
Alex
there was a
Skorsky.
Bucks County reference coming.
Yeah, it's all about Pennsylvania, right? So, but at the end of the day, but even beside Pennsylvania, you look at Fred Smith, who came back from Vietnam, started FedEx.
Yep.
Nike, largest sports apparel company in the world, started by 10th Mountain Division soldier Bill Bowerman, who was Phil Knight's track coach at the University of Oregon. They started Nike together. Or Comcast, largest military company in the world. Again, I say those things because I believe in entrepreneurship. I believe that veterans are civic assets.
Absolutely.
And they want to be empowered with their health care. They want to be empowered to do great things and live that purpose-driven life. But we also have to understand that when we live by that ethic that we leave no one behind, we need to use technology to get in front of our brothers and sisters who might fall through the cracks. And that's why it's awesome to partner with you, to partner and have these public-private partnerships with the government, with nonprofits, with companies like Cerner that are doing the right thing by our brothers and sisters.
That's incredible. My time there was paper records, and sir, you've had the perspective and experience of have tactical army and going to combat as a company level officer, and then leading the entire army, which is two different perspectives and both very valuable. So let me say this in army terms. What does this transformation, what does it do for soldiers? Obviously all military members, but soldiers and their families, and how does it mean we're taking care of our soldiers?
Well, it's using common sense solutions. Yeah, sure. I mean, it's using common sense solutions. I mean, Cerner is out there in the majority of hospitals. They're the largest healthcare IT company in the world. So they're already getting after it right now. So why recreate the wheel, right? So we're partnering and having this public-private partnership, with them to say, hey, listen, we want the best, this commercial off the shelf. We're gonna make it a little bit better, for the DoD and VA, and then we're gonna push it out to our people. And what that means is they're gonna have best in class, world-class health information technology at their fingertips. It's happening right now. It's something that Congress and military leaders have been debating for decades. I'm about getting it after it. I'm about getting it done. I got it done when I was in Congress. We're now getting it done at Cerner, and I'm on Team Cerner. But we have to make sure that we wrap our arms around all our brothers and sisters and their family members, that they know about this and that they can utilize this great technology that's coming down the pike.
So
Absolutely.
just to interject, guys, the value of DoD and VA being on the same system is exactly what Patrick said. As our commercial clients, anytime any one of these entities comes up with a great idea and we implement it, all of our customers get that. And just to add like a little piece to this, so we all know there's an opioid problem in America, right? Period. Commercial side, private side, military side, all sides. Cerner's fielded an opioid tool that allows clinicians to look at your medical history in the VA and the DoD and say, oh, this guy had a questionable history. Maybe we don't prescribe him this pain medication without additional check-ins, or maybe we try a different medication. In the first month we turned that on, we had 700 alerts and 70 interventions. Secondary to that, wow. DoD actually asked us, DoD said, hey, we're in a pandemic and there's this vaccination thing that's going to happen. And you're kings of mass vac. Can you guys build us a little bit of a tool to help mass vaccinations go more smoothly? So I don't know if you've ever walked into a civilian healthcare clinic. It takes about 15 minutes for them to in-process you and pull your shot and give you your shot and check you out, and you pay your bill. It's about a 15-minute process for DoD also when we're looking at family members and troop clinics. We took that down to about 2 minutes. And not only did we deploy that tool for DoD, we turned around and gave it to 175 commercial clients. So this is proof that government can actually drive intervention in partnership with a commercial entity, the private entity, and we give it to everybody. So the pandemic and COVID has really sharpened that point of how do we all make strides and serve each other best. So I'm proud to be part of a company and have supporters like Patrick, helping us lead this initiative, because it isn't just about, creating profit. It's about a common cause and doing better. Healthcare is too important to stay the same. Full stop.
Wow. I mean, this is clearly a huge win for not only our active duty force, our reserve force, our National Guard component, and obviously veterans. So I'm excited to get the word out that this is in the pipeline to all of our membership. But before we go, are there any other upcoming issues that you think veterans should be aware of, particularly when it comes to this? Danielle, maybe you first.
So I'm just going to say it's an education and outreach campaign, right? We're all veterans. We can be a little bit cranky and a little bit stick in the mud when it comes to new bureaucracy or what appears to be change.
Well, we'll leave Garrett out of this. Garrett's a nice guy. Come on.
So what I would offer is that stay tuned, right? Pay attention. If you have questions, Google it. We have put out some great information. DoD and VA has. We are here every step of the way to make this the best possible experience for the end user, which is the service member, the veteran, the family member, the caregiver, even the survivors. And so we're here, we're listening, our doors are open. Our VA and DoD clients feel the same way. So you'll hear more from me over the next 2 to 8 years. I'm not going anywhere as we kind of move this football down the field.
Awesome. Patrick, sir, any parting words or any things that veterans should be aware of as we go through this process?
Well, listen, one, thank you for having us on, and thanks for what you all continue to do. I mean, it's so important. Mission Roll Call is, you guys are awesome, and appreciate, because it's where the rubber meets the road. It's getting the word out there. It's really making a difference. We were all put on this earth, to make a difference, to live a purpose-driven life, to be leaders of character, committed to a lifetime of service. And, I think sometimes, we have to look back and realize that, this country still has thousands of troops in Iraq and in Afghanistan. We're still in the longest wars in American history. And we've asked less than 1% to serve in these wars. Garrett, I know you've earned 3 Bronze Stars. Danielle is sort of, I've done 2 deployments. My brother's done 2 deployments. The reality of it is that we have to make sure that if we're less than 1% of our country, we got to stick together. And we also, have to reach out to the 99% of Americans that want to be part of the solution. And that's why this public-private partnership is so incredibly important. And that's why, whether you're talking about, healthcare, health IT, or whether you're talking about, homelessness or opioids or suicide epidemic, we got to be there for each other. We're frankly in the positive stuff. On great veterans, we're doing great things in corporate America and business. So, to me, I'm just excited to be able to spend some time with you, to talk about it. As you can tell, we're all very passionate about our brothers and sisters, and there's a lot of work to do. And we have some great partners in the private sector, and also nonprofits, but also, new leadership and folks like, Dennis McDonough, new Secretary of the VA, who I've gotten to know personally, who's from the state of Minnesota, where Governor Tim Walz, the former Command Sergeant Major, is the governor of, and we're all doing our part to be, part of the solution and have this public-private partnership to move the ball forward for our brother and sister veterans.
Sorry, I mean, I couldn't have said it any better. That perfect ending words for our audience and Americans in total. 1, thank you for your time here today. And 2, thank you for all the work you're doing to take care of our military active duty force and veterans. But 3, and I think most importantly to both of you, thank you for your lifetime of public service, beginning with joining the Army and through nonprofit and public sectors. It is what it's all about. And so we thank you very much. And we can't wait to tell the Mission Roll Call Nation about all the great work you're doing. Thanks so much.
Thanks, Garrett. And you can always reach me on at Patrick Murphy PA on social media, etc. And I know Danielle's on it. Danielle, I'll give a shout out when you're on, and beside at Cerner.
I was going to say, you can find me on LinkedIn, a little bit on Twitter, but.
And if you want, we'll tag you when we post this too, right?
Love
so everyone sees the tags and they can follow. And in particular, they'll probably want to know updates and follow both of you just for see the adventures of service you're going on.
And by the way, Garrett, I have a video of you at Veterans Stadium at the Army Navy game from a few years ago. So you better be nice in this video when you cut it up. Refer to me as
passing the guy down of leadership.
Patrick Murphy, but no, I'm just kidding. But seriously, thanks for having us on, and looking forward to seeing you soon.
Absolutely,
Thanks,
thank you, sir.
guys.
Appreciate it, Danielle. Thank you.